Hey everyone, this is Jonathan from Guitar Player Academy here, and today we're going over the 5 must-know jazz voicings if you're going to be playing jazz guitar on anything. This is such a valuable lesson to know these 5 voicings, not even just in the realm of jazz, but in literally any type of live situation where you're handed a lead sheet or you're learning a song for the first time. If you don't know what these chord symbols are and how you can kind of just translate it to your playing instantly, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And so when I learned these voicings, it was so helpful. So I'm really excited to be bringing this to you guys today. If you find the video helpful, if you learn anything new, please make sure to hit the like button. And while you're on the channel, you might as well subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss a Guitar Player Academy video. This is going to be kind of in a couple parts where I'm going to teach you and run down the actual chord voicings themselves, and then I'd like to do a part 2 to talk about the arpeggiations and how you can actually flow through them. So kind of a 2-part series there. So without further ado, let's just name the type of chord voicings that we're going to be learning today. We're going to be learning the major 7, the minor 7, dominant 7, the half diminished / minor 7 flat 5. It looks different, but it means the same thing. And then the fully diminished, right? I'm going to bring you through how those chords are created and what they mean and what they look like. So let's start with our building block here and with the major 7, right? The major 7 composes of root, 3rd, 5th, and major 7 of the chord. So I'm going to be basing everything that we do within a C chord. That way you guys can kind of know what degrees are played. So we're going to be learning the 5th fret, the 5th string root and root on the 6th string for most of these chords. Those are the most common. As a guitar player, you'll probably end up playing those the most. There are upper structure chords, which I will go over in a future part. However, this is just the fundamentals here. So C major 7. We are starting on the 3rd fret with our index on the A string on the C here. We have our 5th covered with our ring finger, which is the G in this case. This is on the D string, 5th fret. There's our major 7. That's played on the G string, 4th fret with our middle finger. That's a B natural. And then lastly, we have our pinky down on the 5th fret. This is an E. That's the 3rd. You can even bar your index to get that high G in there. Pretty simple, right? What's great about these chords is that once you learn the shape, you can move them anywhere. So if I saw a lead sheet that said E flat major 7, all the same. Now, we're going to take this major 7 voicing and we're going to stick it with root on the 6th string. Same notes, just in a slightly different order. We are on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th fret, 6th string, which is a C. We are not playing the A string, we're muting it, almost like by barring it with the fat of our index finger. Now we have the 3rd, the E. That is on the 9th fret, D string. Excuse me, sorry, that was the major 7th. The 3rd is right below it. That's the B natural. So again, C, B natural, right? That's 9th fret, D string. There's our 3rd. Our third is right below it, so still on the 9th fret. This one is on the G string. Again, E. And then we have our 5th, finally, on the 8th fret, right on the B string. That's the G. Again, the rule still applies. If you looked at me and said, John, I need you to play an A major 7, a G major 7, a B major 7, this voicing looks the same and is played the same everywhere where you have a root on the 6th string. And again, same here. All major 7s. I'm just looking for where my root is. Right? So that's our major 7 voicing. Let's go to the minor 7. Building it off from the major 7 here. We have a couple changes. Let's start with actually what remains the same here, and it's our root and it's our 5th. But that's about where it ends. Our flat 3rd and our what's now the flat 7, C, E flat, G, B flat, different notes in the major 7, right? You have the flat 3rd and the flat 7. So it's important to note here on the 3rd fret with my index, I'm still on the C note, but I'm barring and holding down everything from the 5th string down. I still have my G note here as the 5th, but my G string, instead of playing a B natural, is playing a B flat because of that bar. That's the flat 7. So we have 1, 5, flat 7. Here's our flat 3. E flat. And all I'm doing is taking my middle finger, planting it right on that 4th fret B string, and that's our minor 7. So again, C, G, B flat, E flat. The minor 7 voicing on the 6th string, really easy. That's it. All we're doing, again, we're on that C notes, which is the 6th fret, or 6th string. We are 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th frets. And I'm taking my 1 here, my 5, which is G natural, it's a power chord, and we're on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th fret A string with that, and I'm just barring everything else on my 8th, on the 8th fret here. So I have 1, 5, flat 7, there's our B flat, right? There's our flat 3rd, E flat, 5 again, 1. Really cool. It's, again, you can move it anywhere you'd like. Now, building off of this minor 7 chord, we're gonna flip into a dominant 7 chord. This is just a 1-note change. It's actually kind of a combination between our major 7 voicing and our minor 7 voicing. How you make a dominant 7 chord is you have the root, which is the C. You have an E natural, a G, so 1, 3, 5. There's a flat 7, and then root, right? So if you're looking at your minor 7 voicing, everything remains the same, except we're gonna make this flat 3rd into a major 3rd. So instead of having our middle finger down on that 4th fret on the E flat, we're gonna use our pinky and we're going to press down on the 5th fret for an E natural on the B string. Super, super, super simple, right? But I promise you, with all these voicings, you're gonna run into them on every lead sheet you play. Every lead sheet. So it's really important to know them and have them memorized. So when you see it, you don't even have to think. Again, we're on our minor 7 here, voicing of the C minor. Only note change I'm doing is I'm raising that E flat to an E natural. How you do that is I'm taking my middle finger on the G string of the 9th fret, pressing it down on that E natural. Again, everything is still the same with the barring as the minor 7, but you're just kind of putting that middle finger down. Right? It's amazing. I mean, even just with the chords we've learned thus far, a minor 7, a dominant 7, and our major 7, we can do one of the most popular things in jazz, which is a 2-5-1. D minor 7, G7, C major 7. You know, it's just, you can see the applications of these chords. It's amazing. Another popular thing you'll hear, and especially see in jazz charts, is the minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished, right? We're going to get into why it's called the half diminished in a second, but for right now, I like to call it, and I really think in most circles, at least modern contemporary circles, you'll hear minor 7 flat 5, I think, more often than half diminished, but just be aware of that comparison there. So what makes a minor 7 flat 5? You have your roots, C. Our minor 3rd is back, which is an E flat. Now you have something new. We've been holding steady on that G natural, but now we're playing a G flat, because a minor 7 flat 5 has 1 flat 3 flat 5. And then our flat 7 still continues. So C, E flat, G flats, B flats. Spells out minor 7 flat 5. Luckily for us, the voicing is really, really, really easy. I am on the 3rd fret, A string with my C roots. I have my flat 5, which is again our G flats, right on the D string, 4th fret. I have my middle finger pressing down on the G string, right? That is covering our flat 7, our B flat. And then lastly, we have our E flats on the B string, 4th fret. You see these a lot in what's called minor 2-5s, where if I were to play a minor 2-5 in the key of C minor, D half diminished, I have a 7 chord here, a dominant 7 chord. I add a flat 9. See how when you do major, it doesn't quite oppose the, right, kind of rests in there. You'll see those a lot. Now, to move our minor 7 flat 5, root on the 6th string, this is even easier. All I'm doing is I'm taking my middle finger with my root on the 8th fret E string. I have roots, flat 7 with my ring finger, which again is a B flat. Our flat 3rd with the E flat, that's covered on the G string. Everything's still on the 8th fret, these 3 notes. And then I'm taking my index finger here and covering the flat 5, which again, G flats. On the B string, that is on the 3rd, 5th, 7th fret B string. You can put them anywhere, right? It's a great thing to know. Lastly is the fully diminished chord. You see these a lot in blues. You know, they call it passing diminished, right? That they kind of throw in there. The diminished chord, we're not going to do a chord voicing root 6. We're going to actually do it on our upper structure here, just to give you guys a preview. And quite frankly, when I'm asked to play a diminished chord, typically that's kind of a point of like contention or shift musically. And so I want it to stick out, and getting muddy notes lost in here, it can be not as advantageous, right? So let's check out our root on the 5th string here. I have my middle finger for the first time on our C, right? Again, let's review what makes it fully diminished. You have 1, flat 3, flat 5. We're pretty similar to the half diminished, but this is why it's called fully diminished and not half. Instead of a flat 7, you have a double flat 7. Which in this case would technically be like B double flat, or really, let's be honest, it's an A, right? Right? So you have root, middle finger. With my ring finger, I'm hitting that G flat on the 4th fret. There's our A natural slash B double flat, right? Right here on the 2nd fret, or 2nd fret G string. And then lastly, we have our flat 3rd. That is on the 4th fret, high B string with our pinky. Again, not as common, but still common enough where you'll see it, right? You can move it anywhere. The diminished chord is kind of your one-stop shop to establish if you're going into a new key. Right? It kind of, everything wants to pull and resolve to the major chord, right? Because again, if you're playing a diminished, C diminished, you want to go to D flat major 7 because it's 7, 1, right? This is a much easier voicing. The fully diminished can get a little hairy, but up here it's very simple, right? So I'm looking for my root on the 4th string, which is the D string, so that we are on 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th fret D string. Now we have our flat 5, the G flat. On the 11th fret, G string, we have our A natural or our B double flat. I know it sounds weird. For our diminished 7th. And then our flat 3rd way up on top here on the 11th fret. But if you kind of look, it kind of looks like a box, right? But you can stick those anywhere. Right, we've all heard that in the old Western films, right? Like, you know, when it's like the cowboys trying to get across the railroad tracks. That's a diminished chord, right? And diminished chords, we'll get into it in another part here, but there's actually like a lot going on there and not a lot at the same time. It's kind of the same inversion of the same chord over and over and over and over again, but it has huge applications. So let's just review what we learned today and the different types. We have the major 7, the minor 7, the dominant 7, the minor 7 flat 5, or half diminished. And again, we call it the half diminished because the fully diminished has a double flat 7, but the half diminished just has a flat 7. Minor 7 flat 5. And lastly, the fully diminished. And that's pretty much it. These chord voicings, like I said throughout the video, are just so important to know. So important to know. It has a lot to do with just being able to read quickly. You know, we talk about reading when it comes to melody, but you also have to be a really good chart reader of just reading the chord symbols and be able to know them and play them instantly. So I hope that you guys can utilize these chord voicings to make your playing more fluent. If you guys learned anything or just enjoyed the video, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and keep coming back and keep on shedding, because we want to make you the best guitar player that you can be.